Welcome to the History Uncovered, your gateway to the fascinating stories of our past. Today, we journey into the heart of medieval winter to discover how Christmas was truly celebrated in the Middle Ages. Join us as we explore the forgotten magic of medieval Christmas, from sacred ceremonies to joyous feasts. Follow this captivating story to the end and discover a world where ancient traditions come alive. First, sacred ceremonies and church celebrations. The medieval Christmas season began with solemn preparation during the 4 weeks of Advent, when churches throughout Europe prepared for the sacred celebration. Priests adorned stone altars with precious fabrics and golden candlesticks, while monks practiced ancient hymns that would fill cathedral halls with divine melody. On Christmas Eve, villagers and nobles alike gathered in candlelit churches, their breath visible in the cold air as they awaited midnight mass. The scent of incense wafted through Gothic arches, while clergy processed in elaborate vestments embroidered with golden thread and precious jewels. Midnight Mass marked the most important moment of the entire year, when bells rang across frozen countryside announcing Christ's birth to sleeping villagers. Congregations stood in wooden pews wearing their finest wool garments, holding candles that cast dancing shadows upon ancient stone walls. The morning of Christmas Day brought 3 successive masses, each celebrating different aspects of the Nativity with specific prayers and biblical readings. Noble families occupied special elevated seats near the altar, while common folk stood in the nave, united in devotion. Mystery plays performed on church steps brought biblical stories to vivid life, with actors wearing painted wooden masks and colorful costumes. These dramatic presentations depicted the Nativity with such passion that even illiterate peasants understood the sacred story through visual spectacle. Caroling originated as religious processions, where clergy and lay people walked through snow-covered streets singing hymns in Latin and vernacular languages. Their voices carried through medieval towns, bringing spiritual joy to those confined to their homes by winter's harsh grip. Churches remained open throughout the 12 days of Christmas, offering continuous services where communities gathered for daily prayers and celebrations. The warmth of collective worship contrasted sharply with the bitter cold of December outside stone walls. Bishops blessed homes during this sacred season, traveling door to door accompanied by altar boys carrying incense and holy water. Families welcomed these blessings with reverence, believing divine protection would guard their households through the dangerous winter months ahead. The religious significance of Christmas permeated every aspect of medieval life, creating a profound sense of sacred time distinct from ordinary days. This spiritual atmosphere transformed entire communities into unified congregations devoted to celebrating the mystery of the Incarnation. Second, the grand feast and medieval delicacies. Medieval Christmas feasts represented the pinnacle of culinary artistry, when castle kitchens transformed into bustling workshops producing spectacular dishes. Great halls filled with nobles dressed in velvet and fur, seated at long wooden tables covered with linen cloths. The centerpiece of every noble feast was the roasted peacock, presented with its colorful feathers carefully reattached for magnificent display. Servants carried this gilded bird on silver platters, while musicians played festive melodies on lutes and harps. Wild boar hunted from frozen forests arrived at tables surrounded by garnishes of winter fruits and herbs preserved since autumn. The boar's head, adorned with apples and rosemary sprigs, symbolized abundance and the triumph of Christian virtue over pagan gluttony. Swan, venison, and dozens of game birds graced noble tables, each prepared with exotic spices imported from distant eastern lands. Cooks used precious saffron, cinnamon, and cloves to create dishes that demonstrated the household's wealth and sophistication. Common folk celebrated with simpler but equally cherished fare, including roasted goose saved from their small flocks specifically for Christmas Day. Village families gathered around hearth fires, sharing bread, cheese, and ale, while singing traditional songs passed down through generations. Mince pies containing 13 ingredients represented Christ and his 12 apostles, baked in rectangular shapes symbolizing the manger crib. Medieval cooks believed refusing to taste a mince pie during the 12 days brought misfortune for the coming year. Wassail bowls filled with spiced ale or wine circulated through halls, with each person taking a drink and blessing the next. This ancient custom of sharing communal cups reinforced bonds between lord and vassal, host and guest. Specialty breads shaped into elaborate forms decorated tables, including twisted loaves symbolizing Christ's swaddling clothes and round bowls representing the sun. Bakers worked through cold nights to produce enough bread for the extended feasting period. The feast concluded with elaborate sugar sculptures and honey-sweetened pastries, luxuries that only appeared during the most important celebrations. These final courses delighted guests and demonstrated the generous hospitality that defined medieval Christmas spirit. Third, entertainment and festive revelry. Medieval Christmas entertainment transformed great halls into stages where professional minstrels performed elaborate songs about heroic knights and courtly love. Their voices filled stone chambers, while noble audiences sat mesmerized, drinking spiced wine from decorated goblets. The tradition of appointing a Lord of Misrule created temporary social inversion, where a commoner ruled over festivities with comedic authority. This mock king wore ridiculous costumes and issued absurd commands that nobles obeyed with good humor, creating laughter throughout the season. Mumming troupes traveled from manor to manor, performing masked dances and short plays in exchange for food and coins. Their painted faces and jingling bells announced their arrival as they enacted traditional stories, blending Christian themes with ancient folklore. Jousting tournaments organized during Christmas brought knights from distant regions to compete for honor and prizes before cheering crowds. Spectators wrapped in heavy cloaks watched mounted warriors charge across frozen fields, their armor gleaming in weak winter sunlight. Acrobats and jesters performed incredible feats of balance and comedy, tumbling across hall floors while juggling flaming torches or painted balls. Their antics provided continuous entertainment during the long feast, ensuring no moment passed without merriment. Village celebrations featured circle dances around bonfires, where peasants in rough wool clothing moved to ancient rhythms played on drums and pipes. Young and old joined hands, their movements creating patterns in fresh snow while flames crackled against dark December skies. Games of chance and skill occupied nobles between feast courses, including dice games, board games resembling chess, and physical contests. Winners received small prizes, while losers paid good-natured forfeits that provoked roars of laughter. Storytellers captivated audiences with tales of dragons, saints, and magical creatures, their dramatic gestures casting strange shadows on tapestried walls. These oral traditions preserved cultural memory and provided entertainment when outside weather prevented other activities. The entertainment never ceased throughout the 12 days, with each evening bringing new performances and each morning promising fresh diversions. This continuous celebration marked Christmas as distinct from ordinary life's grinding routine. Fourth, ancient customs and gift-giving traditions. Gift-giving during medieval Christmas differed dramatically from modern practices, focusing on practical items and gestures of social obligation rather than surprise. Lords distributed coins to servants, cloth to peasants, and symbolic tokens to vassals, reinforcing feudal bonds through generosity. The tradition of kissing beneath mistletoe originated from ancient Druid beliefs absorbed into Christian celebration, with the plant's mystical properties supposedly blessing unions. Young couples stole kisses beneath hanging sprigs while chaperones pretended not to notice, smiling at innocent romance. Decorating halls with evergreen boughs symbolized eternal life and hope during winter's death. Like grip on the frozen landscape, holly, ivy, and laurel transformed cold stone chambers into fragrant forests, their green vitality contrasting with snow visible through narrow windows. The Yule log, carefully selected from the largest oak tree, burned continuously throughout the 12 days in enormous hearths. Families preserved a piece of the previous year's log to light the new one, creating an unbroken chain connecting past, present, and future celebrations. Children received wooden toys, simple dolls, or carved animals as gifts, treasures they cherished throughout the year with careful attention. Parents commissioned these items from village craftsmen or carved them during long winter evenings before the feast. The custom of disguising identities during Christmas allowed social mixing impossible during regular months, with nobles dressing as peasants and servants as lords. This temporary equality reflected Christian teachings about humility while providing entertainment through role reversals comedy. Charity toward the poor intensified during Christmas, when wealthy households distributed food, clothing, and fuel to those suffering winter's hardships. Monks organized relief efforts, ensuring even the most destitute received some measure of holiday cheer. The exchange of simple handmade gifts between friends and family members expressed affection and strengthened community bonds during the darkest season. A knitted cap, preserved fruit, or hand-copied prayer demonstrated thoughtfulness more valuable than material wealth. These gift-giving customs and ancient traditions wove together Christian charity with pre-Christian customs, creating a rich cultural tapestry. Medieval Christmas thus became a season where spiritual devotion and earthly celebration harmonized in beautiful balance. Fifth, the 12 Days of Wonder. The medieval Christmas celebration extended 12 full days from December 25th to January 6th, the Feast of Epiphany commemorating the Three Kings' arrival. Each day brought specific traditions and meanings, creating an extended festival rather than a single day's celebration. New Year's Day held special significance as the Feast of Circumcision, when medieval people exchanged gifts and made resolutions for improvement. Churches held services blessing the coming year, while communities gathered to sing hymns welcoming fresh beginnings. Twelfth Night marked the culmination of Christmas festivities with the grandest feast and most elaborate entertainment of the entire season. A special cake containing a hidden bean determined who would become the evening's mock king or queen. The Feast of Epiphany, on January 6th, concluded the sacred season with ceremonies remembering the Magi's journey to Bethlehem's stable. Priests blessed chalk, incense, and gold, while congregations reflected on the revelation of Christ to the Gentile world. Throughout these 12 days, work ceased except for essential tasks, allowing communities to focus entirely on celebration and spiritual renewal. Fields lay dormant under snow while craftsmen's workshops stood silent, their tools resting until normal life resumed. Each evening brought gatherings where extended families shared stories, songs, and simple games around hearthfires crackling with oak logs. These intimate moments strengthened kinship bonds and preserved oral traditions passing from grandparents to curious children. Visiting neighbors and relatives during the 12 days fulfilled social obligations and reinforced community networks crucial for survival in harsh medieval conditions. Travelers journeyed despite dangerous winter weather to maintain these important relationships through seasonal goodwill. The gradual return to ordinary life after Epiphany came with mixed emotions, as the magical season's end returned communities to winter's difficult realities. Yet memories of fellowship and joy sustained people through the remaining cold months until spring's eventual arrival. The 12 Days of Christmas represented medieval society's recognition that human spirits required periodic rejuvenation through celebration and rest. This extended festival acknowledged that sacred time existed outside normal temporal flow, creating space for renewal. The medieval Christmas reveals how deeply our modern celebrations connect to centuries of tradition, adaptation, and cultural evolution. From sacred church ceremonies to joyous feasts, from ancient customs to charitable giving, our ancestors created a festival celebrating both divine mystery and human community during winter's darkest days. The History Uncovered hopes this journey into medieval Christmas has illuminated the rich heritage underlying our contemporary celebrations. If you enjoyed discovering these forgotten traditions, please support our channel with a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to continue exploring history's fascinating stories. Until our next historical adventure, may the spirit of medieval Christmas inspire appreciation for the timeless human need for light, warmth, and togetherness during life's coldest seasons.